Good evening, guys. In the last class, we discussed about what is multi-threading and why we need to go for multi-threading, what is main thread and what is user-defined thread. And we discussed how to create user-defined thread and what is the difference between extending thread class, implementing runnable interface, what is a thread scheduler, and what is start method and run method. Can we call run method directly without calling start method, and what is thread life cycle and starting multiple threads at a time. So these are the topics that we discussed in the last class. So what is main thread, guys? What is main thread? The thread which is providing by the JVM is called as main thread. Whenever we run a Java program, JVM will create one thread called main thread. That main thread is used to run our Java program. How to get the information about the main thread? Yes, so there is a method called thread dot current thread method is available. When you call thread dot current thread, it is going to give you a thread object. It is going to give you thread object. What is thread? Thread is a small piece, or thread is a small process which is used to run our program. By using thread.currentThread method, we can get the thread which is running. Every thread will have a name. Every thread will have a name. Every thread will have a group, and every thread will have a priority. Here, for every thread name, we can set the name and we can get the name. Similarly, for the thread, we can set the group and we can get the group. Similarly, thread priority will be available. We can set the priority and we can get the priority also. Good. Thread priority will be there from 1 to 0. Yes, sorry, 1 to 10. Thread priority we can set 1 to 10. 1 is the minimum priority and 10 is the maximum priority. 1 to 10 is the priority of the thread. So the thread which is having highest priority will get the first chance for execution. But can we guarantee always highest priority thread will get the first chance to execute? There is no guarantee. Who will take care of thread scheduling and thread execution? That will be taken care by thread scheduler. What is that thread scheduler? Thread scheduler is a program which will take care of memory allocation for the thread scheduler, thread scheduling part, and thread execution part. Fine. Based on the priority, it may schedule, but there is no guarantee that always highest priority thread will get the chance to execute. Next, we discussed about how to create user-defined threads. How many ways we can create user-defined threads? 2 ways. By extending thread class, by implementing runnable interface. We can create the thread in 2 ways. One is by extending thread class. Another one is by implementing runnable interface. Runnable interface. Right. Which one is recommended? Implementing runnable interface is recommended. Why implementing runnable interface is recommended? If you extend the properties from thread class, in future, we cannot extend the properties from any other class. If you implement runnable interface, then in future, we can extend the properties from thread class. We are going to extend the properties from any other class in the future. What is run method? Guys, what is the run method? What is the purpose of run method in the multi-threading? What is the purpose of run method? Thread execution logic. the logic which you want to execute by the thread, that we are going to write inside the run method. What is run method? Thread execution logic. Which logic you want to execute by the thread, that logic we can write by using this run method. What is run method? Run method will contain thread execution logic. What is the start method? What is the start method? It is used to start the thread. It is used to start the thread. Whenever you start the thread, internally it is going to call run method. Run method contains thread execution logic. Start method is used to start the thread execution. It calls run method. It calls run method internally. It calls run method internally. Got it? What will happen if we call run method directly? If we call run method, then what will happen? If we call run method, then what will happen? Come on. It will execute like a normal method. It will execute like a normal run method, and it will be executed by main thread. It will be executed by main thread. So when you want to execute the thread logic, we should call start method or we should call run method? We need to call the start method. When we call the start method, internally that start method will call run method. Then we discussed about what is a thread life cycle. We discussed about what is thread life cycle. What is a thread life cycle? Come on, what is thread life cycle? Here new state is available, runnable state available, running state, blocked state, terminated. When you create the thread object, then thread will be available in the new state. When you call the start method, thread will move from new state to runnable state. Once the thread scheduler pick up the thread for the execution, it will move from runnable state to running state. Then what is a blocked state? If thread is sleeping or if thread is waiting, then it is called blocked state. After blocked state, it will come back to normal state and it will continue execution. Once the logic is completed, then thread will go to terminated state. Terminated state, nothing but it is a dead state. All right. Perfect. Now, in the last session, we are able to create multiple threads. We are able to set the priority and we are able to start the threads also. I have created 3 threads. Now, here I am having sleep. What is the meaning of thread.sleep? What is the meaning of thread.sleep? Yes, if you want to hold thread execution for some time, then we can go for sleep. Here we are giving milliseconds. I'm giving 15,000 milliseconds. So whichever the thread now, here demo object I created, thread T1, thread T2, thread T3. So total 3 threads created. Whenever I create the thread object, my thread will be in the new state. When I call the start method, thread will go from new state to runnable state. When the thread scheduler process the thread execution, then it will come to running state. From the running state, it will call the run method. When it is calling the run method started by which thread? I'm printing the name of the current thread. T1 is starting, T2 is starting, T3 is starting. 3 threads are going to call the run method parallelly or sequentially? Parallelly. 3 threads are going to perform the task parallelly. Now, every thread will go to sleep. Sleep means I'm giving thread.sleep method 15,000 milliseconds. What is the meaning of 15,000 milliseconds? 15 seconds thread will wait. It will in the sleep. After the time is completed, then thread will continue its execution. Once this run method is completed, then thread will go to terminated state. Once the logic is completed, thread will go to terminated state. Now you see, run method started by thread 0, thread 1, thread 2. they are waiting because of sleep method. Once the given sleep time is completed, thread will continue its execution and it will go to terminated state. Now, see here, thread started 0, 1, 2, but termination 1, 0, 2. So, can you guarantee the order of the thread's execution? No. Can we guarantee the thread's execution order using priority? No. Who will take care of that? Thread scheduler. Who will take care of that? Thread scheduler. Okay. Now you may get one doubt. Sir, here I am taking one thread. Thread T1 is equal to new thread T1 dot start. T1 dot start started by which thread? One thread only I'm taking. Run method started by thread 0. That thread is in the sleep state now. It is waiting. Once that given time is completed, it will come back to running state and it is going to complete the execution. Method started by thread 0. Method ended by thread 0. In between, thread is in the waiting state. Thread dot sleep. Thread dot sleep. Sometimes you may ask, sir, can I start the same thread once again? Can I start the same thread once again? See how many threads are available in my program? How many threads available in, how many user-defined threads I have created? How many user-defined threads I have created? I created only one user-defined thread. Thread T1 is equal to new thread T1 dot start, T1 dot start. How many times I am calling start method? 2 times I am calling the start method. Execute it. What happened? Illegal thread state exception. That means one thread can be started only one time. In the interview, they will ask this question. Can we start the same thread 2 times? No, it is not possible. One thread should be executed only one time. Can one program executed by multiple threads? Yes, one program can be executed by multiple threads, but you need to start the thread only one time. This is illegal thread state exception. What is the exception we are getting? Java.lang. Illegal thread state exception. It is a checked exception or it is an unchecked exception? It is a unchecked exception. We need to keep that in our mind. We cannot execute one thread multiple times. Note, we should not start one thread more than one time. We should not start one thread more than one time. If you do like this, it is going to give illegal thread state exception. Okay, one thread should be executed only one time. Can I start multiple threads in the program? Yes, if I start multiple threads will execute my run method parallelly. Can you observe signature of the run method? Can you observe what is the signature of the run method? Public void run. Public void run. So run method will not take any parameter, will not return anything. Run method return type is void. Run method is the abstract method available in the runnable interface. Runnable interface is a functional interface which contains only one method. We discussed about interfaces. Interface contains abstract methods, right? If interface does not contain any method, then it is called as marker interface. If interface contains only one abstract method, then it is called functional interface. Can we call runnable as a functional interface? Yes, runnable is a functional interface which is having run method. What is the signature of the run method? No parameter, no return type, right? Whatever the logic you want to execute by the thread, that logic you should write inside the run method. Now, guys, in the Java 1.5 version, in Java 1.5 version, they introduced one interface called callable interface. What is the interface, guys? Callable interface. This is third approach. This is third approach to create a thread in the Java. As of now, how many approaches we have seen? Two approaches. One is by extending thread class. Another one is by implementing runnable interface. From initial version of Java, we have two approaches: to work with multi-threading in the Java or to create the threads in the Java. But from Java 1.5 version onwards, they provided a concept called callable interface. Callable interface also used to create the thread only. Sir, already runnable interface is available, then why callable interface came? What is the difference between runnable interface and callable interface? Both are used to create the thread only. By implementing runnable interface, we can create the thread. By implementing callable interface also, we can create the thread, right? Callable interface. Callable interface, this interface introduced in Java 1.5. Using callable interface also, we can create the thread. Using callable interface also, we can create the thread. Callable interface is having one abstract method called call method. This interface contains call method. Runnable interface contains run method. Callable interface contains call method. So from now, how many ways we can create thread in Java? Three ways. One is by extending thread class. Second one is by implementing runnable interface. Third one is by implementing callable interface. This interface introduced in Java 1.5. Using callable interface also we can create the thread. This interface contains call method. Okay, what is the syntax of the call method? Public object call. What is the syntax of the call method? Public object call. This method also does not have any parameter, but this method is having object as a return type. Now can you tell me what is the difference between runnable and callable? In the interview, they will ask this question. What is the difference between runnable and callable interfaces? What is the difference between runnable and callable interfaces? Runnable and callable interfaces. Now, see, this is runnable. Let me go for callable. Now, callable interface. Public interface callable. What is the method available? Call method. Can we call this also as a functional interface? This also functional interface. Since which version? Since 1.5 version. Can you go for runnable interface? This is also functional interface. Since which version? 1.0. Runnable interface introduced in JDK 1.0. Callable interface introduced since 1.5 version of Java. And see, runnable interface is available in which package? Java.lang package. Callable interface available in which package? Java.util.concurrent package. Concurrent multi-threading. All right. Now, what is the difference between runnable and callable interface? Runnable is a functional interface which contains run method. Then callable is a functional interface which contains call method. Callable is a functional interface which contains call method. Runnable interface run method returns void. returns void. That means no return type. Callable call method returns a object, future object, any object. Once your thread logic is executed, your thread can return some value. When you go for runnable, thread will start, thread will execute run method. After executing run method, thread will die. That thread is not going to return anything. Thread is not going to return anything. But when it comes to callable, callable call method returns object. These are two differences. Runnable is a functional interface which contains run method. Callable is a functional interface which contains call method. Runnable run method returns void. That means there is no return type of the run method. Callable call method returns object. Runnable interface present in which package? Runnable interface present in java.lang package. Callable interface present in java.util.concurrent package. Read these 3 points. We can create the thread by extending thread class. We can create the thread by implementing runnable interface. We can create the thread by implementing callable interface. In these 3 approaches, I prefer callable interface because callable interface call method can return some object, whereas runnable interface run method will not return anything. Extending the thread class is not at all recommended. Why? Because you cannot extend from any other class in the future. So this callable interface available from Java 1.5 version. Okay, what is the difference between runnable and callable? Runnable is a functional interface which contains run method. Callable is a functional interface which contains call method. Runnable run method returns void. That means there is no return type. Callable call method returns object. Runnable interface present in java.lang package. Callable interface present in java.util.concurrent package. Okay. Now this is our demo class. This is our demo class. Let's see this. Remove system.out.println run method called. System.out.println run method called. How I am creating the thread now? How I am creating the thread now? By implementing runnable interface. How I am starting the thread? By using t1.start. Okay, here if you see, here observe carefully guys, you need to observe thread class constructor. You need to observe thread class constructor. First up, I'm creating a class called demo. Demo class is implementing runnable interface. Inside the runnable interface, we are having run method, public void run. So the run method will not take any parameter, will not take any return type. Simply, it is a no parameter, no return type method. System.out.println main method. I want to create this demo thread. Demo is my class. I want to create a thread to execute this logic available in the run method. I'm going to create the object for demo. Demo D is equal to new demo. I created the object for demo class. So now demo is a normal object. I want to represent a demo object as a thread object. How to represent a demo object as a thread object? Thread T is equal to new thread. Check the constructor. Check the constructor. Is there any constructor available in the thread class which will take callable as a parameter? See this. Thread 0 param constructor, thread runnable, thread string, runnable and string, group and runnable, group and name, group runnable name, group runnable name, stack size. That's it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 constructors are available. So in these 8 constructors, Is there any constructor which will take a callable as a parameter? No, there is no constructor in the thread class which will take callable as a parameter. Why? When thread class introduced, when callable introduced, understand my point? When the thread class is available, callable interface not available. Thread class introduced in 1.0. Thread is a class available in the java.lang package. Callable interface introduced in the Java 1.5. Okay. Now I am creating the thread by implementing runnable interface. Runnable interface. Can I pass my thread object as a parameter to thread class constructor? Yes, because this demo is following runnable. So this demo is a runnable interface implementation class. Can I call demo is a implementation class for runnable interface? Yes, thread is taking runnable as a parameter. Interface it is taking as a parameter. When your constructor taking interface as a parameter, you can pass implementation class object. We discussed in the interfaces. Method with the interface as a parameter. Method with the interface as a return type. Can I create object for interface? Can we create object for a interface? No. Why? Interface will not have any constructor. We cannot create the object for the interface. If a method is taking interface as a parameter, then what to do? Method is having interface as a parameter. What to do? Yes, we need to create the object for implementation class, and we need to pass implementation class object as a parameter. Are you guys clear? Right. Now, here thread class is taking runnable as a parameter. Thread class is taking runnable as a parameter. Runnable is a interface in the lang package. Can we create the object for the runnable, or we cannot create object for the runnable? We cannot create object for the runnable. Can I create object for runnable interface implementation class? Yes, we can create the object for runnable interface implementation class. Are you getting my point? Yes, we can create the object for runnable interface implementation class. What is a runnable interface implementation class here? Demo. Demo implements runnable. Demo object is available. Can I pass the demo object now? Yes, I'm passing the demo object. T dot start. What is the meaning of T dot start? Thread will start. Thread will start. Okay. When this thread is starting, let's execute. What happened now? Run method called. I am calling start method. Internally it is calling run method. Perfect. Now, can I start this thread once again? I want to execute this method 2 times. I want to execute this logic 2 times. Can I start the same thread once again? Yes or no? T1 dot start and T1 dot start. Is it possible or not possible? Not possible. If I start the same thread again, what will happen? Illegal thread state exception. We should not start the same thread twice. One thread should start only one time. But now I have a requirement. I have a requirement. I don't want to go for runnable. We understood already what is runnable. Runnable is an interface which contains a run method. That interface is written out, that run method will not return anything. That interface is available in the java.lang package. Now, I want to go for callable. I want to go for callable. What is a callable? Callable is also a functional interface. What is the meaning of a functional interface? What is the meaning of functional interface? The interface which contains only one method. The interface which contains only one method is called as callable interface. I mean functional interface. Runnable is a functional interface. Callable is also a functional interface. Perfect. Now remove everything. Remove this also. Public class demo. Demo class implements callable. Which package? Which package? Java.util.concurrent. I am implementing callable interface. So whenever we implement a interface, there is a rule. What is the rule? When I implement a interface, there is a rule. What is that rule? Yes. When we implement a interface, we need to override all the methods of the interface. Callable interface having which method? Call method. Does that call method having any return type? Yes. What is the return type? Object is the return type. Call method. Let's override call method. Let's override call method. What we need to return from the call method? Anything. Whatever the data you want to return from the call method, you can return. Now here I will write system.out.println call method executed. Call method executed. If you want to return something like this, yes, you can return that. No problem. You can return any object. Whatever the object you want, once your thread execution got completed, whatever the data you want to return, you can return that data from the call method. Return hi. That's it. I have created a class which is implementing callable. When we implement a callable interface, we need to override call method. We need to override call method. Then go for main method. Go for main method. Demo is available. Demo d is equal to new demo. Demo d is equal to new demo. I have created demo object. Now I want to start the thread. I want to start the thread. As of now, how we started the thread? How we started the thread? Thread T1 is equal to new thread of D. Success or failure? Failure. Why? Why it is failure? Think and tell me. Yes. Thread class constructor will not accept callable interface implementation object. It will accept only runnable interface implementation class object. That means when you go for run method, you can start the thread like this. When you go for runnable interface, you can start the thread like this. So here demo is a class which is implementing runnable. So this is implementation of the runnable. This demo object is called as runnable interface implementation object. Runnable interface implementation object can be passed as a parameter to thread class constructor. But now my demo class is implementation class for runnable, or it is a implementation class for callable? It is the implementation class for callable. So can I pass the demo class object as a parameter to thread class constructor? No. In Java thread class, there is no such constructor which will take callable interface implementation class object as a parameter. This is not the right way to start the thread. Okay. Are you getting my point? When you need to call the start method, if your class is extending from thread class, or if your class is extending from thread class, if your class is implementing runnable, then you can start the thread by calling start method. But my class is doing what? Implementing callable interface. In which version that interface got introduced? 1.5 version. When you go for callable interface, you cannot start the thread by using start method. You cannot start the thread by using start method. To start the thread, when you go for callable interface to create the thread, in order to start the thread, Java provided a concept called executors. What is that concept, guys? Executors. Executors concept introduced in the 1.5 version which is used to start the threads which are implementing callable interface. Let's go here. Executors dot new fixed thread pool. How many threads you want to create in the thread pool? Executors is a class available in java.util.concurrent. Okay, java.util.concurrent callable, java.util.concurrent executors. Got my point? Executors dot new fixed thread pool of 1. What is the meaning of new fixed thread pool of 1? One thread will be created. If I want to create 10 threads, simply you keep 10. Then what will happen? 10 threads will be created. Earlier, if I want to create 10 threads, what I have done? T1, T2, T3, T1 start, T2 start, T3 start. This is LKG standard coding. Creating 3 objects and calling the start method for 3 times. If you are working in the real time, we don't create the threads like this. In the real time, our threads will be created by using callable. So if you want to create a thread, you will implement a callable interface. Callable interface is a functional interface introduced in the 1.5. In the callable interface, we have a call method. Call method will return object. Once your class is implementing callable, you cannot go for thread class to start the thread. To start the thread, you need to go for executors concept. This executors also introduced in the Java 1.5 version. Executors dot new fixed thread pool. Can I say it is a static method? Executors dot new fixed thread pool. Class name dot method name. Class name dot method name. When you will call the method by using class name? When we will call the method by using class name? If it is a static method, what is the class name and what is the method name here? Executors is the class name. New fixed thread pool is the method name. What is this? 10 number of threads you want to create. I want to run my program with 10 threads so that task will complete quickly. I want to run my program with 20 threads so that my task will be completed quickly. So here, if you want to start multiple threads, you can pass new fixed thread pool of 10. It will create 10 threads. What is the return type? The return type is executor service. Executors dot new fixed thread pool of 10. So it is going to create a thread pool with 10 threads. A pool will be created. What is the meaning of a pool? Collection. Pool nothing but collection. Pool nothing but collection. Tomorrow, how many of you know about a concept called resource pool? Have you heard about resource pool? Here, what is that? No. No. In the company, listen. This TCS company, Infosys company, Tech Mahindra will select a lot of people in the campus selection. Okay, the people who selected in the campus can develop the project directly? No, they are freshers, right? So do you think that company will keep them in the project directly? No, company will select the people in the campus for the resource pool. They will gather the people who are good in the skill, who are having good skills. Companies will select the people from the colleges. They will keep in the resource pool. Once they kept in the resource pool, for them 3 months training will be there. Company will provide a training for them. TCS is selected 50,000 people last year. In that 50,000, for 30,000 people, offer letters got cancelled. Do you know that? No. So they selected 50,000 people in the campus interviews. In that 50,000, 30,000 people offer letters got cancelled by conducting system test. Coding test they conducted, people did not qualify, they removed. Only 20,000 people they have taken. So those 20,000 people are for resource pool. For those 20,000 people, TCS will give training on the full stack, Java training, Python training, DevOps training, AWS training, testing training. They will give the training on the multiple technologies, 8 hours of training. You should go like a college. Morning you will go to office by 9 o'clock. Your class will start. Morning session class will be available. Evening session assignments will be available. Like that they will give training on multiple technologies for 3 months. After 3 months completed, they will conduct evaluation. Who is good in which technology? Some people are good in Java, some people good in .NET, some people good in testing, some people good in DevOps. So once they have selected for particular technology, then those people will go to Java pool. The people who are good in Java, they will go to Java pool. Now, these people are good in testing. These people are good in Java. Now, once that 3 months of training is completed, once your exam is completed, then these people are finalized for the testing. These people are finalized for the Java. Now, for Java, one resource manager will be available. One HR will be available for Java. For testing, one HR will be available. For all the Java managers in the TCS, HR will send your resumes. These people are trained in the Java. These people qualified in the Java test. These people are in the resource pool. If you have any requirement in your project, please let me know. I will conduct a interview. Okay, that is project interview. First company interview will be available. If you select in the company interview, then they will give the training for you because you are from the campus. You don't know technology much. They will give the training. Once the training is completed, that they will divide into groups. That group is called resource pool. You are a resource for the company. Multiple Java people will be there. Multiple testing people will be there. Multiple DevOps people will be there. That is also called as bench. You are employee of TCS. You will go to office daily. You will get the salary. Everything will be there. But you don't have a project. Then you are a resource on the bench. These resources are on the Java bench. These resources on the testing bench. That means you don't have a project. Then HR will send the mail to Java project managers. There will be so many Java projects in the TCS. All the Java project managers will get your resume in the email. They will go through your resumes, which project having a requirement for Java fresher. That project manager will call you. He will take the interview. If you qualify in the interview, then he will take you to that project. So like that, resource pool will be available. That means they will gather the people from the colleges who are good in skill. They will give the training for them. They will conduct the test for them. If they qualify the test, they will keep them on the bench. From the bench, you will go to project. Once your performance is not well in the project, again you will be released from the project. From that project, again you will come to the resource pool. From the resource pool, again you need to find the another project. You will go to another project. In the another project also, if your performance is not well, again you will come to the bench. You will go to another project. If you are rejected in the 2 to 3 projects, then you will come out from the company. They will remove you from the company. So don't think that once you get the job, your life is settled. Samjha, company will give you 50,000 salary, that 40,000 salary, 1 lakh rupee salary. That means, will you go to company for enjoyment? Every day is like a last day. Yes. So you should be very careful. Software engineer means lifelong student. If you are a software engineer, you should be always a new quick learner. Always you need to learn the new things to survive in the IT. Don't think that if you know Java, everything is completed. Even if you know Java, there are a number of things which are newly coming into Java. Every day you need to update yourself. And one more thing. Once you join in the company, you should not stick to one technology. You should not stick to one technology in the company. According to your company requirement, you need to work on the technology. Initially, when I joined in my company, I joined as a Java developer. 1 year completed. My project completed. There is no work. They asked me to work on the testing. I told that I love Java. I don't want to go for testing. I don't want to leave Java. If you don't want to leave Java, we will leave you. Understand my point? If you don't want to leave the Java, then we will leave you. We will find another person because now project is not there. There is no work on the project in the Java. We have work on the testing. If you want to continue in the job, you need to work on the testing for 6 months. After 6 months, we will get another project in the Java. Then we will send you to Java. This is 6 months you need to work on the testing. Otherwise, tata, bye bye. Then what is the option? We have to work on the testing. I worked as a tester for 6 months. After 6 months, the testing is completed. Then they asked me, Java project got cancelled. Another 6 months you need to work on the Selenium. Yes, Selenium is also kind of Java. Then first 6 months I worked as a manual tester. A button daba, O button daba, they same work. After 6 months, then I worked as a automation tester on the Selenium. How to do automation testing by using Selenium framework. If you know Java, Selenium you can learn in 2 days. I enjoyed with Selenium because Java coding only. 1 year completed as a tester. Then finally we got the Java project. By that time, my 1.5 year completed. First 6 months in Java, next 1 year in testing. After that, we got the Java project. 1 year worked on the testing. What will happen? Forgot the Java. So that will happen. Always you need to keep yourself update. 6 months again, I struggled to work on the Java project. 2 years completed. Chodo is company ko. Let's make a switch. Then I switch it to another company as a Java developer. When I switch it to another company, I told that I have 2 years experience in Java. Actually, 1 year. But we did not show that. 1 year Java, 1 year testing. Total experience I showed on Java. Then I moved to another company. From there, Java. In my recent last company, they asked me, Ashok, you are a Java resource, 8 years completed. How many days you will work as a developer? We want you to work on the AWS and DevOps. Then what to do? What to do? Not switch because AWS DevOps is having lot of demand in the market. I felt I am lucky. They told me we will give you training on the AWS and DevOps for 1 week. 1 week they have given training. Then they asked me to work on the Linux, AWS, DevOps. Currently I am working on Linux, AWS, DevOps along with Java. So in my third company, last 1 year I worked on the DevOps. In my present company, I am working as a end-to-end developer. Development, now I know development, I know testing, I know automation testing, I know Linux, I know AWS, I know DevOps, Docker, Kubernetes, Angular. My last 4 companies made me full stack developer. Understand my point? They gave the salary, they gave the chance to update my skill set. Now I became full stack developer finally. From development to till deployment. From development to till deployment, everything we can handle. Everything I can handle at this moment. So you should also become like that, all-rounder. Then only you will have a demand in the market. Got my point? Yes. So keep your mindset ready to explore the new things. Always you need to learn the things. Not only me, 80% of software engineers in the industry are multi-skilled engineers. So 80% of software engineers are multi-skilled engineers. That means if they know Java, along with Java, they will learn one more technology for backup. Why backup? If Java project is not available, switch to another project. Why you know? Software engineer, after marriage, your wife will ask you a car. You need to purchase a car with loan. Huh? After car is purchased, after 2 years, they will ask house. We need to have our own house. 1 crore in Hyderabad. Car 15 to 20 lakhs. Bache school fees. So with salary, you can't manage all these things. If you get 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh salary, can you maintain car, own house, children's school fees, your petrol charges, your restaurant bills, weekend parties, your parent expenses? Can you manage everything? Then what you will do? You will take a loan, bank loan, monthly EMI. If you don't have a job, how can you pay the EMI? Every month, 80 to 90,000 EMI only you have to pay. Car EMI, loan EMI, children's school fees, your house expenses, your parents' expenses, everything. So job is mandatory. When job is mandatory, can you stick to one technology? No. Why? If Java project is not there, company will remove you. If company removes you, you cannot pay the home loan or car loan and all. That's why always you need to have a backup. When you have a backup, what is the advantage? If a Java project is not there, we will work on the testing project. If a testing project also not there, we will work on the deployments. So like that, you need to prepare your career. Okay? That is the truth actually. क्या सर? अमीरपेट? अमीरपेट को मत छोड़ना. हाँ. You ask any of your friends who are working in the industry, they will tell this secret. Good. Now, huh? क्या? 8 साल का पैकेज. That depends, man. That, हाँ. So actually currently in the market, experience multiplied by 6 lakhs, 5 lakhs they are giving. Experience multiplied by 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs they are giving. Huh. Right. Oh, now we are trying to create a thread. How many ways are there to create the thread in Java? In the Amirpet, our famous faculties will tell there are 2 ways to create the thread. But in the industry, we will use the third approach. What is the third approach? Callable interface. Callable interface introduced in which version of Java? It introduced in Java 1.5 version. What is the difference between runnable and callable? Both are used to create the threads only. Both are used to create the threads only. Runnable interface having a run method. Callable interface is having a call method. Run method will not return anything. Call method will return object. Okay. Demo D is equal to new demo. Can I create a thread class object and can I call start method? When I am teaching Java, people faces are so dull. When I am teaching non-technical stuff, they are very excited. They're very excited. What? Why, man? When I'm teaching Java, people are feeling sleepy. When I'm teaching non-Java topic, people are very excited. What is the reason? Every day I need to tell a new story. Demo D is equal to new demo. Why I am going for executors to create the thread? Why not thread class? Thread class does not have a constructor to take callable as a parameter. Okay, why it does not have? When the thread class is introduced, callable interface not available. Understand? Thread class available from Java 1.0. Callable interface introduced in Java 1.5 version. So if you create a thread by implementing callable interface, you cannot go for start method. You need to go for which concept? You need to go for executors. What is executors? It is a class. It is a class. By using this class, we can create a thread pool. What is the meaning of thread pool? What is the meaning of thread pool? Multiple threads we can create, we can keep them in the pool. They are ready to use. I'm creating a pool of threads. For those threads, I can submit the task. Now, once this thread pool is created, how to submit the task to the thread pool? Executor service dot submit. Executor service dot submit. Can you see submit method is having three overloaded methods are available. Submit method is overloaded. What is the meaning of overloading? What is the meaning of overloading? Writing the same method with different parameters in the same class is called as method overloading. When we will go for method overloading? When we will go for method overloading? When multiple methods are doing the same operation, to improve the readability, we will write the same methods with different parameters. The process of writing same method with different parameters is called method overloading. What is overriding? Writing the same method in the parent class and child class is called method overriding. Why we need to go for overriding? If you don't like your parent method implementation, then we will go for method overriding. I'm going for submit. For the submit method, I'm passing D. Executor service dot submit of D. What is the meaning of submit of D? Submitting a task to the thread pool. I created the threads. How I created the threads? Executors dot new fixed thread pool of 10. What is the meaning of that? I have created 10 threads in the pool. I have created 10 threads in the pool. T1, T2, T3 and so on, T10. 10 threads created. Now executor service dot submit. When I call executor service dot submit, then what is happening? What is happening? Call method is executed. Program is terminated or program is not terminated? Program is not terminated. Program is not terminated. If your task is completed, then after this we need to write executor service dot shutdown. Executor service dot shutdown. What is the meaning of executor service dot shutdown? It is going to shut down the thread. Call method executed. How many times call method executed? One time. But actually how many threads I created? 10. But why it is executed only one time? I submitted task only one time. That one task executed by one thread. Which thread executed that task? In that 10, one of the thread executed. Who will take care of that? Executor service. So how I am creating that? Who is creating my threads now? Am I creating thread by using thread class? I'm creating thread by using executor service. Executor service. Am I calling the start method? No. How I am submitting the task now? Executor service dot submit. In this process, executor service will take care of creating the threads. Executor service will take care of the task execution by the thread. 10 threads created, but I submitted a task only one time. I submitted the task only one time. Are you guys getting my point? Now, let us see. Here, I'm going to write a loop for integer I is equal to 1 I less than or equal to 15 and I plus plus. Okay. Into I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 15, I plus plus. What I am doing now? I'm creating a loop. What I am doing inside the loop? 15 times I am submitting the task. 15 times I am submitting the task. But how many threads available? 10 threads available. Can I give 15 tasks for 10 threads? Think, apply common sense. Simple example. There are 12 chairs available. In our room, there are 12 chairs available. I have 3 working employees, 3 workers available. I will tell to my workers, hey workers, there are 12 chairs available in the room. You need to transfer these 12 chairs from this room to that room. Can 3 people transfer 12 chairs? How? First one person will take 1 chair, 3 people will take 3 chairs, they will keep there. Then what will happen? They will come back to the work, they will take the remaining 3, they will keep there. They will come back and they will take the remaining 3, they will keep there, they will come back. Until 12 chairs are completed, 3 people will work in the round robin fashion. Able to understand? 3 people will work in the round robin fashion. Similarly, when you go for executor service, that is the advantage. I created only 10 threads, but how many tasks I have submitted? 15. Then what will happen? First 10 tasks will be taken by 10 threads. Then after, remaining 5 tasks will be taken care by the first threads who completed the task first. First, the remaining 5 threads. That means 5 threads will do the task 2 times. 5 threads will do the task only 1 time. Now check this. Now, can you see how many times a call method is executed? 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That means, am I able to execute the task 15 times? 15 times a task executed by thread pool. What is the meaning of thread pool? Collection of threads. If I want to achieve this implementation, if I go for runnable, what is the problem? 15 threads I have to create, 15 threads I have to start. But here, am I writing the logic to create 15 threads? Am I creating the logic to create 15 threads? With a single line, I'm able to create 10 threads. If I give thread count as 2, still it will complete the task or not? How many times a task will be completed? 15 times. 15 times, because threads are 2, but a task is submitting for 15 times. Now still that 15 times a task will be executed. 2 people completed 15 chairs. 2 people completed 15 chairs. Got it? This one, you want to create executors dot fixed thread pool with 0. What happened now? Illegal argument exception. Why illegal argument exception? There is no thread available in the pool, but I am submitting the task. If you want to submit the task to the thread, you should have at least 1 thread in the pool. Main thread will be there. These are different. Main thread will be there. These are different. I am not capturing that now. If you capture that, it will give you. Submit method will return that. Whenever you call the submit method, here call method is returning object hi, right? Whenever you call the submit method, that submit method, 1 minute. What is the parameter of submit? Object. Yes. Yes. This is the future object that you will get. system.out.println submit dot get dot toString. Call method executed, return high. Call method executed means thread is executing the logic and the thread is returning some output. So this is the most recommended way to work with multi-threading in the Java. That is by using executor service. If you go for multi-threading implementation without executor service, then what is the problem? Every time you need to create the thread and you need to start the thread. But here logic is simple. You create a pool of threads, then you submit the task. The thread pool executor service will take care of all the task completions by using the threads. That means one thread may get the task 2 times also. One thread may get the task 3 times also. But if you go for runnable, one thread will get only one task. If I want to complete 1000 tasks, we need to create 1000 threads. But here only once we will create a pool. That means here threads reusability is available. There thread reusability not available. So which is recommended? Callable interface is recommended. By using this callable interface, we can create the thread. To start the threads, we will go for executor service. Executor service is a new concept which is used to implement multi-threading. When you create the threads, when you submit the task by using executor service, thread pool will be created and we can reuse the threads which are available in the thread pool. When you go for runnable, can I start one thread 2 times? No. Can I submit 2 tasks for one thread? No. But here 10 threads I am creating in the pool. Those 10 threads I am reusing to complete my 20 tasks, or I can complete my 30 tasks. I can complete 1 lakh task also by using 10 threads. Threads will execute in the round robin fashion. First thread, second thread, third thread completed. Again, first thread will take the 4th task. Second thread will take the 5th task. Third thread will take the 6th task. If I create 3 threads, first attempt 3 tasks. Next attempt again 3. Next attempt again 3. Threads will keep on executing until all tasks got completed. This is highly recommended solution to create multiple threads in the Java to achieve parallel execution. If you want to execute your program parallelly with multiple threads, recommended to go for executor service. So have you seen the difference? If I go for this approach, T1, T2, T3, create 1000 threads. Is it recommended? No. But here I'm creating 10 threads. For 10 threads, how many tasks I'm giving? 15 tasks. How 10 threads will perform 15 tasks? Reusability. If one thread task is completed, that thread will get the next task. Who will assign the task to the thread? Executor service. Who will assign the task to the thread? Executor service. If you go for normal concept, who will assign the task? Thread scheduler will be there. But here, executor service is available. In the interview, they will ask you, what is the executor service in the Java? Executor service is a concept which is used to submit multiple tasks to a pool of threads. By using executor service, we can submit the task to pool of threads. Got my point? Yes. Actually, this multi-threading concept I will explain in the real-time project. So mostly you can check. Most of the core Java faculties will not explain executor service. Right? So in the real time, when we implement multi-threading, there we are I practically in the Deloitte company, I worked for 4 years. In that company, in one of the project, I have implemented executor service concept to send notices to the citizens parallelly. Within 1 hour, my program will send 1 lakh notices. Within 1 hour, it will send 1 lakh notices. That is parallel processing. So to achieve that parallel processing, 1 lakh notices I will get today. Tomorrow, maybe 2 lakhs. Can I write a program to create 2 lakh threads? Stupidity, right? Then what we need to do? Reusability. I will create 10 threads. I will go for reusability. How we can achieve threads reusability? Executor services concept. A thread pool concept is available. By using thread pool, we can create the threads. For the pool of threads, we can submit multiple tasks repeatedly. Once a thread, first thread completed one task, then it will get the second task also. Second task also completed, it will get third task. Third task also completed, it will get fourth task. That the thread will be busy. The threads will be busy until all our tasks got completed. Thread will be busy until all the tasks got completed. Clear? Yes. Shutdown means once all the threads are executed, close that executor service. This future object means any object, any data. My thread is executing here. My thread, after completion of the execution, I want to return some status like success or failure, whatever the data. That whenever you submit, thread will execute, thread will return the status, success or failure. That for your, if you want to capture some output from the thread execution, you can go for that object. That is a facility available in the callable. After my thread is execution, I want to get some data from the thread. Here we can get it. Can I get some data from the thread by using runnable? No. Why? Void return type. Run method is returning void. Call method is returning object. Good. Yes, sir. You need to remember, when you go for runnable, you will call start method, right? When you go for callable, you will go for executor service. Java program with executor service. Executor service introduced in Java 1.5 version. Using executor service, we can implement multi-threading. Using executors, we can create a thread pool. We can submit the task to the thread pool by using executor service. Using executor service, we can submit tasks to pool of threads. Executor service will reuse the threads to complete all the submitted tasks. Executor service will reuse thread pool threads, will reuse threads available in the pool to complete all submitted tasks. Okay. Executor service introduced in Java 1.5 version. Using executor service, we can implement multi-threading. Using executors, we can create thread pool. That means we can give the count, number of threads we want to create. You no need to write thread T1 is equal to new thread, thread T2 is equal to new thread, thread T3 is equal to new thread. That concept is not required. Executors dot new fixed thread pool. Pool of threads will be created at a time. Pool of threads will be created at a time. Executor service will reuse the threads available in the pool to complete all the submitted tasks. Java program on executor service with a callable interface. Okay, good. Perfect, guys. We understood what is a callable, what is executor service, what is the difference between callable interface and runnable interface. And we understood what is executor service and what is the advantage of going for executor service. What is the advantage of going for executor service? What is the advantage of going for executor service? With one thread, we can complete multiple tasks. Threads reusability will be available when you go for executor service. Perfect. Tomorrow, we will discuss about synchronization. In the multi-threading, we have a concept called synchronization. Synchronization, synchronized method, synchronized block, deadlock concept is available. Another 1 or 2 days it will take to complete our multi-threading. Good. We will explain that separately. Concurrency, yes, same. Executor service is one of the concurrency topic. All right, guys, fine. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll continue in the tomorrow session. Yeah. I'm going to upload the notes now. Yes, executor service is also part of the JVM only. Yes, yes. Cool. We'll continue in the tomorrow session.